In your homework tonight, I'm going to show you 3 YouTube clips that are going to teach you about Mary Shelley's sources in Frankenstein, a Modern Prometheus. In this first clip that I'm going to show you, it's a whiteboard stop motion that tells the story of Paradise Lost very briefly. You need to be aware that the account of Adam and Eve that John Milton tells in Paradise Lost is not necessarily the account that you're familiar with if you've read Genesis chapters 1, 2, and 3. For instance, in Milton, God creates Jesus, the Son. And of course, Christians would have major issues with that statement. In fact, nowhere does it say that God created the Son. Jews, of course, are going to have a problem with the fact that there is a Son at all, because none of that is mentioned in Genesis, which is the first book of the Torah. So we need to be aware that John Milton is putting his own take on this very first book of the Bible. So without further ado, let's go ahead and watch this whiteboard stop motion of Paradise Lost. Now that we've seen that whiteboard stop motion of Paradise Lost, we have an idea of what the story is in that major poem. It's a book-length poem. What I want to do now is look at a screencast, a video lesson created by another AP teacher. I don't know this teacher, but most of us who are in AP Lit are getting interested in teaching through video. This is going to be the video of someone named Melissa McClure, and she's going to talk a little bit about Paradise Lost and how it's important to Frankenstein. Now, I'm not going to show you the full length of the video cast. I'm going to do bits and pieces of it because some of it I'm not sure you'd be interested. She's going to show you the scriptural background, and I'm not sure that you are necessarily needing the scriptural background now that you've understand the story. So let's go ahead and take a look at what Mrs. McClure has to say about Paradise Lost. In this final clip that I'm going to show you from YouTube, it's a video made by Emmy Schaefer, I believe. And I'm not sure if she's a teacher or if she's a student or if she's just someone who likes the book and wants to make a movie. But it's fairly decent. We're going to learn, first of all, about Prometheus, which is important because the title of our book is not Frankenstein, it's Frankenstein, a Modern Prometheus. What does Prometheus mean? She's going to explain it to us. We're also going to look at Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Now, we've read the book. She's going to talk to you a little bit about how it relates to Frankenstein. And then finally, we're going to talk a little bit about Paradise Lost in the video. Okay, this is going to be a longer clip. It's about 10 minutes. So be prepared to spend that much time watching it. Well, that was the last clip. I hope you've learned a little now about some of the sources that went into making the book Frankenstein and maybe why those sources were used. It's important that you know these sources. You might see them again on an in-class writing, or we might talk about them, or even they might appear on the study questions and ultimately on the Frankenstein test. So it's important to know these things. In addition, it's important to know a little bit about Paradise Lost because it is a major work of English literature, and the story that it tells, the story of Adam and Eve and God and the rebellion of Satan, is a story that gets repeated and used in allusion a lot in English literature and American literature. So it's important to know these things so that we can understand the broader context of what we're reading when we're reading good literature. And with that, I'm going to say good night to you. So, good night.